everyone, Lee Pacchia here, and you are watching The Business of Law, the only web TV show focusing on the challenges and opportunities facing the legal profession. Really special guest today. I'm happy to say we have Aric Press. He's the editor-in-chief of ALM. ALM, of course, publishes The American Lawyer and the National Law Journal, among other titles. Welcome. So good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So two really significant studies published in The American Lawyer this month, and the first one just blows me away. The annual diversity scorecard is out, and I really couldn't believe the numbers when it came to black lawyers in America. Black lawyers accounted for 3% of headcount at reporting firms, that is among lawyers, and black partners accounted for 1.9%, under 2%. That strikes me as very grim news.
Well, and on top of that, it's been a steady decline over the last 4 or 5 years.
Right, that's even worse in my view. What's happening out there?
Well, the recession took its toll. There were layoffs in 08, 09, 10, and some evidence that there was disproportionate impact on minority associates, and particularly on black American associates. Secondly, the pipeline coming out of law school has not increased. If anything, it's decreased, both because of cost and shrinkage in terms of recruiting. It's a problem, and it's not a problem that seems to be going away anytime soon.
One has to ask, at this point in time, are big law diversity initiatives a complete and total failure? Is there any way to view it as something else?
Well, imagine where we'd be had there been no diversity initiatives of any kind. Look, these are difficult places to succeed in for any young lawyer. They appear to be acutely difficult for minority lawyers. There's a host of social issues that go on. There have been a variety of studies that have suggested that one of the problems for African American associates and others is a sense of social isolation, not only a lack of mentoring, conceivably a lack of training, but also some unexamined prejudice that totally unconscious, as best I could tell, certainly in this day and age, that nonetheless has an impact of driving out otherwise qualified candidates or not encouraging them to stay on. Instead, they go off and have perfectly fine careers in general counsel offices, rising all the way to the top, or in academia, or in private practice, or in the business world.
Yeah, I mean, 2-3% compared to other professional services areas. I mean, it's half, if not a third, of what the makeup is for the medical profession or financial services. It certainly begs questions about big law culture. That said, are you seeing a willingness among stakeholders of large law firms to correct this proactively, or is diversity in big law, in light of the great legal recession, becoming an ancillary priority?
Well, it depends on the law firm. There's not a law firm chairman or managing partner or leader of any kind that I've spoken to in the last decade who doesn't include diversity on their priority list. I think they're sincere about it. They have found it a difficult puzzle to solve. The fact that clients have not always kept up the pressure on this issue is a contributing factor as well.
Right, they've certainly been able to make changes when it comes to things like pricing in large law firms. They could certainly lend a hand in this effort. Let's turn to the economics. The American Lawyer also just released the rankings of the second 100 for the AMLAW 200. Average revenue growth for these firms is at 2.6%. That's down from 3.2% last year. The average top 100 firm is over 5%. Why is the bottom half stalling out?
Well, a two-part answer, if I may. The 5% increase is, for the first 100 is skewed a bit by the largest firms, which grew the most as a result of a variety of confederations and mergers and thus and such. In both the 100 and the 200 firms, the average firm grew, if at all, by 1 or maybe 2%. There's a separate group of high flyers who are separating themselves from the market. They account for maybe 16-17% of the lawyers and 20-22% of the fees. They are simply an elite group of 20-21 firms who are doing far better than the rest. The others are not doing badly. No one has to worry about raising a benefit, but they're stuck on a kind of high plateau, partly because the demand from clients has changed. They're certainly willing to pay top dollar for certain kinds of problems and certain kinds of lawyers when they have those problems. But for other more routine or operational matters, they want to pay less. And law firms are having to adjust to that new reality, which for our lifetime seems unlikely to go away.
Right. It's hard to think of any economic entity that wants to get stuck on that plateau and not obtain growth out there. That said, those firms that are stuck in the flatline position, do you think they're going to be considering stuff like job cuts in the near to medium term?
Well, I think the job cuts that they have actively been considering have to do with staff. I don't anticipate, I hope I'm not wrong, I don't anticipate a lot of associate layoffs in the future. On the other, that's the good news for associates. The bad news for associates is that it's always been difficult to climb the ladder to become a partner and to become an owner, an equity partner. It continues to be excruciatingly difficult. There are now fewer equity partners in the AMLAW 100, at least there were in 2013, than there were in 2008. While the overall size of the law firms have grown, the ownership class has shrunk.
Generally speaking, what's the sentiment out there when you talk to law firm leaders? Is there a concern among the second 100 about where things are today, or are they generally feeling better about the state of affairs as opposed to 5 years ago?
They're feeling better. There's cautious optimism at most. There's no irrational exuberance. There's some sense that the corner has been turned for the legal economy. Clients are spending a little bit more, and there more deal activity, more litigation, much less bankruptcy. So if you double down on bankruptcy, you're in trouble.
Bankruptcy's been brutal for about 10 years now, but other areas are starting to pick up, it seems.
That's correct, and it's just a question of where you are in the market for how much you'll be paid. Are you a premium performer, or are you merely a very good performer?
That's Aric Press, Editor-in-Chief of ALM. If you'd like to see more of the stuff we're working on, be sure to go check us out on YouTube, and you can always follow us on Twitter. I'm Lee Pacchia. Thanks for watching.